Hello, people. You are connected to SNN, and that stands for Street News Now. We do this every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel, type in SNN, Street News Now. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Also, catch us on Facebook Live, of course, and Twitter and Twitch as we gather, as we are the MICs, the masters of intellectual chaos. Let's go around the table and, of course, bring in Dr. Ron Ford. How you doing, sir?
Good evening. I would like to introduce myself. The master of chaos has arrived. I just thought I'd throw that out there like that, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, somebody had to. I guess it was you. So thank you for being here as always.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
How you doing? How's everything?
Man, look, I'm still glad to be alive. You know, that's my story. I'm sticking to it, man.
There you go.
Hey, you know, every day that I'm above ground is a wonderful day.
I have been told that. Now, bringing, of course, this man goes by many names, and, you know, for a while he was using 7, but now he's returned to his name that we mostly know by, Mr. Mike Love.
Yeah, it should say blank, because all my stuff shut down. You know, that's what you get when you try to help a friend. And then you call them to say, hey, man, I'm trying to get my stuff back. I really don't know. I think that you got to go over here and click on the lock. And hey, who wasn't slow poking around?
Right.
So what's up, Dr. Ron, with the Dracula imitation? I want you to get blood.
Yeah, I just, felt like doing something different tonight. That's all. I always come in and go, what's up? So tonight I just wanted to put a little drama into it,
You did, definitely. I was scared to death. I just had thoughts of you sleeping in a coffin, that kind of stuff. No. Blood dripping from your mouth, those teeth right there are really sharp on the end, just stuff like that.
Yeah, laying down in sacred earth in the coffin, so that old visual, the cave and the whole thing.
If anything, eating a bowl of chocolate cereal in the morning.
Come on, man. Come on. That was a cheap plug. That was a cheap plug right there. You know what I'm saying? He get residuals for that, Chris.
Yeah, if anything, right? I'm going that route, man. I'm not going the other route, bro.
No. Okay, well, you keep going, sucking next, and doing the stuff that you do.
Yeah, no, sir. Nope. Because I wouldn't know what would be considered sacred earth in my case.
I was just thinking, just for like a hot second, I know we got to move on, but do you think Dracula ever had like oral sex?
All the time.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'm not curious or want to know for any other reason, but since you kind of brought it to the
asking for a friend, right?
Yes. Ain't no friend gonna be like, no, I don't even know Mike Love. No.
I don't know him or 7.
And what is he talking about? And what is he talking about? Orally putting teeth marks in? You know what I'm saying?
Hell. Going for the blood.
Going for the blood. Speaking of the blood, let me drink in the blood.
Mm-hmm.
So let's bring forth our fearless leader who is joining us tonight. He has different names too. So Road Dog, Lee Michaels. What's up, Lee?
Yeah, the Road Dog is in the house like a child on punishment. What's happening, guys?
Man, good to see you, sir. How you doing?
It is good to see you.
Good to be seen. Yeah, good to be seen. Good to be heard, and all that good stuff. Okay, I'm still getting set up here because this Marriott hotel I'm staying in. It's
okay, Marriott. Excuse me.
Shut up. Turn this volume down.
I know they got some rooms open down at Mar-a-Lago. You can come on to the East Coast and.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, you can get a bargain down there right.
You get a bargain down there right now.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But so I was kind of fighting here to get my internet connection, and I finally got it after the show started because originally I was going to have to be on a cell phone, and I didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Audio is okay?
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, that's good. Nice. Well, thank you very much. Good to be here, guys. And boy, what a week it's been. It's Thursday, and the whole week has been consumed by Donald Trump in the news, and today subpoenas went out on some top Republicans in Pennsylvania. So this banana is getting peeled back 25 different ways.
I'm telling you, they're not gonna get them.
I'm telling you, I tell you what, I'm gonna publicly bet you 500 large.
No.
Come on, put your money.
Look at my lips.
No.
No.
Hell to the no.
Hell to the no. That's part of the art of the deal. You know what I'm saying? No.
No, the deal is about to get busted right about now. But anyway, so the FBI raided the house. Now I understand there was a press conference
The club.
today.
They raided the club.
Right.
Mar-a-Lago.
Where he has confiscated and turned it into his house.
Yeah.
So
even the dog is trying to correct you on that.
Right. He's about to go out the window if you don't stop barking. So that was on Monday. Then Tuesday, what was it? He had to go before. Oh, the judge forced him to give up the tax papers to Congress. And then Tuesday, he had to go before the prosecutor in New York. And he said he answered one question, his damn name. Everything else for 4 fucking hours. All he said was, I plead the fifth. And now roll back the times, go back to what he said. Anybody that takes the fifth must be hiding something.
Hey.
So now I missed the press conference today. Did any of you
didn't miss
guys
anything?
catch it? No?
Yeah, I caught it.
What was the outcome of that?
Well,
The Justice Department.
The head of the Justice Department did a press conference today, and basically he called Donald Trump's bluff, because Donald Trump had already went public talking about they raided my house, trying to stir up public sentiment for the people that follow him. But Garland went on board and said, look, we're going to show you the warrant and everything that we confiscated, and we're going to let you see what's been going on. And he endorsed his FBI. He said, I'm proud to work with them. They're doing a wonderful job. And he supported everything that went on because he said he knew about it and endorsed it. So when Garland said that a couple of weeks ago that no one is above the law, he meant it. So they put in a motion to release the warrant and what was confiscated, and in Florida. And the judge came back and said, well, you got till 3:00 tomorrow to object to the Trump team, his team of lawyers. Otherwise, we're going to release the information since you already talked about it.
So who requested the release?
The Department of Justice requested the release.
Okay, so now it's up to Trump's attorneys to say
object.
yea or nay.
Right.
To unrelease it. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, they to object.
Well, but they can object. But does that, just because they object, does that mean that the court is going to agree to the objection?
Well, they would have to come into court and come up with a reason why they don't want it released. When Donald Trump was the one who actually released the information that he went into his house. So they're trying to say, look, we've been trying to get him to turn over information since January of this year, and he wouldn't do it. So,
that's reason enough to me.
Right. So they got a warrant.
Go ahead and get it.
Yeah.
Chris.
Well, see, we know it's not important to, you guys down in Texas, Mike, but for people in other parts of the country, they would like to see something terrible happen to this.
It has nothing to do with the wonderful state of Texas. It's just one of these situations where, Lee and I were talking earlier. I think it was yesterday or earlier today, about the art of the deal, the book. And pretty much he laid out a blueprint of scheme and scandals. And even kind of had a show in reference to how to be competitive called The Apprentice amongst someone that you're competing against. And he's become very good at it. I don't know how you fix this situation, but when you have to raise money to run for a political office, and that money has to come from business people, other politicians, whatever the case may be, it sets everybody up for failure. And that's been the biggest thing for me. I don't have a problem seeing him go down. I just don't think it's going to happen. They're going to come up with a way, because too many people will be exposed. Impotent people. And I ain't talking about people that can't get it up. I'm talking about people in Washington, D.C.
Okay, but Mike, that's all the more reason that the Justice Department and any other state that is investigating these clowns need to bring it forth and prosecute these guys. Because if you don't do it now, there'll be other criminals coming in behind them and say, hey, what the hell? Trump got away with it. Mitch McConnell got away with it. Mario got away with it. And the rest of these clowns got away with it. So they're going to do the same thing. Look at he's like the Pied Piper, Trump, or Mother Duck, with all the little ducklings following behind them because they don't know no better. Right, exactly. A bunch of quacks running behind him, sucking up his butt, because he's got the center stage.
Yeah.
And they bought into his hype.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Yes, hook, line, and sinker, because there is no creativity other than criminal creativity in the Republican Party. I said it, and I'm sticking with it. Prove me wrong.
Well, we're already having a lot of firsts in dealing with Trump, okay, especially in this scenario that we're speaking about. He is the first president or ex-president to have what, in his words, a raid on his house. Okay?
That's because he pushed it that far.
Exactly. So they don't think that he is above the law, and they don't think that he is the person that will survive this investigation. And everybody that's in the boat with him is going to go down. They're going to sink. It's going down.
I hope you're right.
It's going down hard. I mean, the feds don't move fast. Okay, they move very slow. True. They take their time. They're methodical. They knew what they were looking for when they went into the house. It was already leaked information where it was and where to find it. So that was the basis in which they got the warrant. They knew where to go look for what they were looking for. He tried to spin move that, talking about, they went all in my wife's underwear, all that kind of stupid stuff, but they knew exactly what they were looking for and where to look for it. Okay. When the
Apparently
FBI,
there's some inside people in his organization that tipped the feds to what was up.
You think about it. When they made the appointment to do the search in his house, they had to contact the Secret Service,
right,
and say that we'll be here at this time. They notified them 2 days ahead of time, and the Secret Service, who is still protecting him as a former president, they opened the door and let him in. So you got it. The Secret Service, know what's in that house.
Of course they do.
Yeah. So, they probably pointed him in direction. Look over there, look under there. This is where the information that you're looking for. And they came out of there with boxes of information.
The documents that they came out of with, apparently he was never supposed to have taken them away from.
Yeah, they're archived to the White House.
So the National Archives, that belongs to us, the people.
Right.
Belongs to the federal government. The government works for us. So he obviously took that stuff. Now, one of two things happened, guys. Either his ego wanted him to have this because why? Maybe I can make some money off of this. Maybe I can put this in a book. I mean, based on what we know about this guy, based on what he has done, that's not far-fetched as far as I'm concerned. Because what is he? He's a pig. He's a hog. He loves money. He has a huge ego. So any way that he can con his way into making some money, he'll probably do it. So that could be one reason why he took those documents. The other one is ignorance. Because listen, around the president, there are people who know what's supposed to be done. These are experts that have been working around all the presidents, and there's policies and procedures that have to go down. And I'm sure these people said to Mr. President, no, you can't take those documents with you. That has to stay, and it's not personal property. I'm sure they told him that. And he defied whatever they told him, and he took it any damn way. I'm the president. I'll do what I want to do. Again, his ego gets him in trouble. Arrogance. But see, let's go back, guys. Let's go all the way back to the 70s when him and his criminal ass daddy were strong-arming people in New York City, discriminating against minorities. Okay, somebody's got echo coming back to me.
Okay,
Bucky, is that you?
Buck asked me to change microphones. Is that better?
Yes.
Your mic sounds better,
but you got to turn your echo off.
You got to have the.
But anyway,
I gotta have the what?
We got to go back to the 70s when him and his dad were discriminating against people who came to their properties to rent apartments, and they denied them because of the color of their skin. Fact. And they were fined by the federal government for doing so. They should have shut the doors down. But again, he weaseled his way out of that and moved forward. So he's paid $500,000, whatever the fine was.
You're feeding us back to us, Mike.
Say again?
I was telling Mike he's feeding us back to us.
Right. Your mixed minus is off.
Okay, what about that?
Check.
Was that better?
Still working.
No.
Still coming back. Go into your StreamYard and turn off the stereo or echo or whatever they call it in there.
The echo cancellation?
Yeah.
That's not going to do it.
Yeah, that's not going to do it.
It should.
Choose the other mic.
The other mic would be the camera.
Oh.
Because the first mic, I'm on the Pro 2 chat. Now I'm going to go back to the first one.
So you're on the Procaster, right?
I'm on the Rodecaster, yes.
Rodecaster. In there, there's a setting for a mixed minus. And I can't go to it because I'm on the new one now, so I'm not sure where that is.
He's got the new one.
I got the new one?
Yeah.
You're on the new one?
Procaster.
Yeah, I'm on the new Rodecaster, but I'm not on I don't see anything that says mix minus.
No, it doesn't. Well, it is in there, but I'm not sure what that's doing.
So maybe I get excused from the call this week and you guys repair me and I return next week.
So I just think that
Go back to
what he has been doing since he's been out of the office is just as bad as what he was doing in the office. And he continues it. The same day that he got raided, they put out a new webpage to get more money. So these dumbass Republicans that follow him, sending him money for, I guess, for his defense fund again. So, hey, folks, wake up, stop being stupid following this guy. Don't send this guy any more money because it's not going to go towards what you think is going to go towards. It's going in his pockets.
In other people's pockets.
Oh, goodness. Now it's really loud.
Yeah, real loud. Other people, including his family members, are going to benefit from the money that you guys are sending him. Okay? And if by chance he is convicted of anything, then he'll need some defense fund. But now that shouldn't be paid by you. It should be paid by him. Did you, John Q. Public, put him in this situation? Well, indirectly, yes, because you followed him. You supported him. You had your face up his butt. You showed up at the rallies. And now look at the mess he's in now. Look at the mess that you're in. What did Donald Trump do during his administration, his 4 years in office, that changed your life? Now, I'm talking directly to the poor people in this country, and I'm talking to the what Dr. Ron says doesn't exist anymore, the middle class. How did you benefit from his existence in the White House?
And looking at the monitor.
I got the Rodecaster Pro.
That's because your butt was working to earn that money.
So
That's
Mike,
why that happened.
What, did it help the microphone volume?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
turned
It's a
down
little
a
hot.
little more.
yeah,
It's still hot?
Yeah, you can turn it down, but we don't have the echo now. So whatever
so-
you did, you fixed it.
It sounds terrible, but I mean, still, it's
Is it still sound terrible now?
Yeah, it's too
Yeah,
hot.
it's just
Turn
really loud.
Turn your volume
I
down.
got it all the way down.
there you go. A little bit more, a
That's-
little bit higher.
A little bit.
higher.
Bring it up a little bit more like that.
That's
a little bit. A little bit more.
You need a little bit more like that.
That's good.
I feel like y'all trying to have sex with me.
No,
Don't get too happy, cowboy.
no.
Calm it down.
So you used to women saying deeper, deeper?
No, a little bit down. A little bit down. A little bit down. That's my navel. Oh, sorry.
Has anybody noticed that Ron bounces when he laughs?
Ah, hey, bro. I laugh because it's funny. Okay.
How y'all doing? Good. to
Good.
see
Doesn't that make you like jovial when you laugh and
you.
bounce?
Yes.
Yeah, it's jovial.
Yeah, big people are jovial.
See, now I'm not going there with you.
Hey, I'm big. I can do it. I can say that.
Okay, and you can come up missing.
Hey.
All right,
It's
all
all
right,
love,
guys,
baby.
come on.
It's all love.
Well,
So-
see, you know, I
so
mean, we in Donald Trump mode, so why wouldn't we talk about, criminal aspects?
Oh, okay. I guess you got a point.
I'm just kind of, put the pieces, connect the dots. I mean, we're talking about criminal aspects by a guy who has professionally shown his counterparts how to do it. Now, think about this. When you were talking about having the boxes, okay, is it about keeping the boxes or masking information that's inside of the box? Okay, and in our time now, you can take a cell phone, you make copies of anything that you want because Donald Trump needs to get evidence on people. That's how he gets money from you. That's how he gets you to do whatever he wants to do. He is not even worried about the boxes going back at this point. He's gotten everything he needs out of there. Photos, information. He's called the people who need to be called. You may not want to speak to CNN when they talk about me because I got something that I could tell them about you. It's his code of law. So he's gotten all the information, taking the boxes back. Whoop-de-doo. I'm just trying to keep you from being too excited, Lee, because I'm telling you, you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Well, I don't think he's that damn smart.
I think he is.
I mean,
the criminal
that
life
sounds like a good movie script, but I
well,
don't
that's
think
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
The criminal aspect isn't about how smart you are, it's how slick you are. And he's slick. He's a slick dude in a suit.
I think he's only his appearance is that because the American people and the Republican Party allowed him to get away with it. And let me just say this. 65% of the problem is the people that control the real background people like Mitch McConnell and others in the Republican Party that did not have the balls to go sit down with him the way the Republicans did with Nixon when they said, "Hey, Nick, you got to resign, buddy, because you're going to destroy the Republican Party. And we are not going to go down with you." That's a party that stands for something and has strength and want to do the right thing. They knew he was dirty. He got caught. He was busted. And they got him to resign. That's why. Otherwise, he was going to be impeached. And the Republican Party would have voted to impeach him. But the assholes that we have in Washington, D.C. now, some on the Democrat side as well, some of that are not real Democrats, but the ones that hold that title, they're not going to stand up for anything other than what benefits them. And that's what the whole Congress is based on now. So I plead to the members of Congress, do the right thing. Stop thinking about yourself. Stop being selfish. Stop trying to milk the cow till the cow is dry and walk out of there being a multi-millionaire on a $200,000 a year salary.
But what if they just like
distinguished gentleman?
What if they just like how
that.
wonder if they just like how a teat feels and they don't care about how much milk comes out of the cow?
Well, that's the problem.
See?
The whole idea of these politicians of today don't give a damn about Mike Love, Dr. Ron, Chris Bass, Buck Wheezy, or Lee Road Dog Michaels, and the rest of the crew. Professor, John Q. Public, Linda London. They don't give a damn about us. They give a damn about what's good for them and the lobbyists that come in and pay them to do what they want them to do. Okay? That's the problem right now. And it's rampant. It's scary. And that, my friend, needs to change. And we, the people, can bring about that change by voting these punks out. That's how things will change. Vote them out. Vote for your own interests.
It's interesting you should say that because you and I were talking earlier this week, and they've had several primaries, over the last couple of months. And according to the demographic of the election, the primary election, 70% of the people that have voted voted against what the Republican Party tried to universally push out there, like Roe versus Wade. Universally, right. They believe that, we're glad this is it. This is a Republican way. This is it. But 70% of the voting population that has voted against what the Republican Party is standing on right now.
And that's across party lines.
Yeah. So, and the Republicans are not in touch with the people and what the people want. They're just trying to hold party lines. Are we Republican? We're going to vote Republican, whether they're right or wrong. This is what we believe. We're going to stand on it. And it's in opposition to the voting public.
But Ron, you're saying word for word what I'm saying to Lee. I'm not in disagreement with Lee, but basically you can't address the party at large, the citizens, the voters, when you have put yourself into a scheme within the coffers of government. And that's where the battle is. So once you try to make a move, somebody steps to you. You ever seen a spy movie and you're supposed to be going to tell the authorities something and then somebody bumps into you and you get a message? I wouldn't do that if I were you, if you want to see tonight, 9:00. You see what I'm saying? They every time they try to get it right, Dr. Ron, they're in a situation that they cannot move. We were talking earlier today.
Of the politicians.
I'm talking about the politicians, the ones who the ones who are honest and they went to Washington to make changes.
Then they are weak. They got no balls, no backbone to stand up against the pressure. They don't know how to say, no, I'm not doing that.
How do you?
If that means you're going to bump me off, okay. I'm going down like that.
That's easier said than done.
But
I'm about to say,
I'm going to leave something behind to let the world know what you did.
Well, and I got to agree. There are some that have stood up. You look at the two Republicans that are on the January 6th committee, they're catching total flack. but yet they are standing on the facts. They're presenting the facts. They're bringing the facts forward, that's available to bring forward. They're interviewing people that saw what happened and took place. So there are some people. I can remember when, what's his name? Romney?
Mitt Romney.
Yeah. He voted against party lines on more than one occasion because it was the right thing to do. So
Yeah,
there are some, but there's not enough of them.
Right. On this last vote that just passed, he voted party line. He voted as a Republican.
And he wishy-washy, goes back and forth.
Right. So he's as weak as the rest of them. Anytime you get a 50-50 split on a Senate vote like that, that's straight party line. The vice president had to come in and place her vote on the table to break the tie.
Isn't that what all the votes?
I'm sorry?
Isn't that with all the votes in the Senate?
Well, pretty much right now because of the makeup of the Senate. Yeah, of course.
And because of how they fight and they vote along party lines with everything.
But that's the problem. It can't be straight party lines when, in other words, if I come in and say the George Washington Bridge needs to be rebuilt that connects New Jersey and New York, and if it went before the House and the Senate, what do you think the outcome would be? If they vote party lines, the bridge is going down. Why would you vote against that idea?
It would be ridiculous.
How is that good for New Jersey and New York in particular, or the country? Because it's a major artery that goes north and south.
And that's the bridge. Remember, that's the bridge that Chris Christie blocked up that day. Remember? What was he thinking about?
He wasn't thinking.
He wasn't.
That's the problem.
But Lee, one of the things, and I think you kind of you're making the point, but we have to accept what reality is. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this whole percentage thing that Ron is doing. Okay, 80 to 90% of the people who are elected officials on a national level, whether they're senators or congressmen, do not need the jobs. There is no commitment to do the right thing. They don't need it. They don't need the money. The only time you're going to get effective work from an employee or someone who's contracted to make money off of you is when they need the money.
Well, yeah, or they have a passion and love for
But that's
the
a
job.
small percentage of passion and
The
love.
only reason I got in radio is because I loved it.
Right.
I never thought I would make any money. My parents told me, fool, you're not going to make any money. DJs don't make no money.
Be a lawyer.
What are they going to pay you? You know what my first job, I got $1.60 an hour.
Damn, that was when radio first started, huh?
But that was back in, what was that, in like the 40s or 50s?
No, fool.
30s, dude.
1965.
Oh, the
Okay,
first radio
$1.60.
Yeah.
My first paycheck was $13 or something. I never cashed it. I kept it, and I don't know where it is now. I moved too many damn times.
The bank wouldn't cash it. He was like, no, this got to be at least $10.
Right.
You should have went ahead and bought that AM radio like you're supposed to.
Yeah, right. But that's what we need in our government. People
some
who are
galoshes.
going in there because they have the right spirit and passion for serving the people. You are a public servant. When you go to the courthouse to file papers, and I'm sure this is near and dear to Dr. Ron's heart, because yesterday and today he had to go down to the courthouse and file some papers. He's doing it because he's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to fix a wrong. And there has to be people on the other side of that desk that give a damn and will do their job to serve Dr. Ron when he comes there. And not enough of that is going on today.
Yeah,
people are lazy. They don't like their job. They don't like the fact they're not making enough money, and they half-ass doing the job.
from top to bottom.
Absolutely. In every industry.
Right. Look at the airline industry. I mean, 15 to 2,000 flights being canceled every week.
Yeah.
A lady got in the car with me the other day, got on the plane. The plane went out on the tarmac, sat there for 2 hours. Wait a minute. They waited 2 hours to load the plane. The plane sat on the tarmac for 2 hours, and then they rolled it back in and told them the flight had been canceled.
Oh, I know they were pissed.
Pissed. Dude, that girl was lit up like a firework on the 4th of July when she got in the car. She was mad.
Of course. Your whole life is turned upside down because of something that you have no control over.
Although, what's she going to do now? Catch a train?
Well, whatever it is,
got a
but
monopoly.
I talked to a relative of mine who was a pilot, and they were talking about the different unions who serve the airlines are not happy with them when COVID came into play, and they were trying to kick in safety rules for their employees and or their members. The airline wasn't trying to hear it, like eliminating you sitting in the middle seat, and trying to put the space between people so you wouldn't get the virus as quick, and that turned things around in that industry tremendously. And they haven't been able to fix it. And so going back to what we've been saying for the last 5 or 10 minutes, you've got to convince people to make a commitment to any job you have, whether you're a janitor at a high school or you're a congressman in Washington, D.C. But Ron, you said it best. There is no commitment at any level.
Well,
No
I
commitment.
think there's no commitment because I think with certain politicians running for certain offices, he or she may have the best intentions in heart. It's like the original Wizard of Oz. At first, exactly. Because they had not been privy to the real deal, like the original Wizard of Oz. It went from black and white with Judy Garland landing on the house and everything with the Wicked Witch, the east, west, and south, wherever she was. But as soon as you opened the door, she was in Oz and everything was color. So once she crossed the threshold and realized that world existed, it's kind of similar to what these politicians go through. Some of them who do not know what's happening in government. Once they get there, there's a whole new world, a whole new universe. So how do you adapt and how do you stay employed? How do you stay in position or possibly try to move up within the government? So for example, go by percentage you talked about earlier in the conversation. So CPAC, the conservative think tank, right now says that between 70 and 75%, if Trump was to run again, he should be the top presidential candidate for 2024. As of right now, everybody else, Rubio, Cruz, are in the single digits.
Because they're weak.
Yeah, they ain't got nobody else strong.
Exactly.
And so Trump is not strong. He's just conned everybody into believing.
He's stronger than the rest of them.
Right.
Well, strong in terms of popularity. Because
Exactly.
it's a popularity contest is what it is.
Exactly. So when that's going on, it is disturbing because no matter what Trump says, the acolytes are going to go on follow it and not question it. Like for example, the raid we just talked about. He comes out, I'm a victim. They invaded my house. He knew about this months ago. But it's what you play to your audience. Everybody's an audience to play to. So Trump is no different. Whether it's broadcasters or television or anything else, you know what your target audience is. And once you know what your target audience is, that's who you talk to. That's who you play to. Yeah. So Trump is no different. We talk about numbers and statistics and all type of stuff. So that's what he does. The thing about all of this is the fact that there are certain people who I believe behind the scenes want this man to run again. And they'll do whatever it takes to keep that avenue open to make sure he runs again in 2024.
And what is the reason for that? For them wanting him to run again?
They want the White House back.
Well, that's obvious, but why? Is it because there's nobody else they can line up behind and push across the finish line?
Exactly, sir.
They don't want to find anybody else.
That's a sad commentary, right?
It is.
Well, but you know what though? The Democrats have been there many times. So who we got? Gore. Or what was the name of it? John Kerry. Ugh. Had no chance in hell. Because they didn't have a superstar. The guy had a chance of being a superstar, they got his ass out of there because he's talked too loud that time. What was his name? The little short guy?
Yeah. He had the helmet on and the tank, and
It was just like stupid.
yeah. But you know what?
funny.
I mean, listen, is that what he did and his whole attitude, was that worse than Trump?
Nothing's worse than Trump.
Okay, that's my point.
I think I'd rather have Putin for president than Trump.
Hey,
well, I ain't gonna go that
hey.
far.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No,
Kidding.
You got Putin. That's Trump.
Yeah, but he's not president
he
right
wants
now.
to be a Putin.
He's not president right now, son.
You know what? That's because America woke up and voted against him.
Well, it was close. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
7 million difference, dog. That's huge.
Yeah, well, out of
In
300
your lifetime,
million.
there's never been that big of a distance between.
Has there not? I don't know.
I'm telling you. No, it
Oh,
hasn't.
wow.
No. Couple million, million and a half, but never a 7 million. And
where's the little baby you got in your lap? And where'd she go?
That's it.
Hey.
That's Beamer.
Hey, Beamer. You're so cute. Look at you. Oh,
I'm a
yes.
Maltese and I'm spoiled.
Oh, yes. I'm Uncle Buck. Buck loves you already. I never even met you. Oh.
Yeah,
Sorry, I love dogs.
That's Beamer.
Obviously.
Beamer. As long as he doesn't piss in your lap, then you'll be good.
Hey.
He gets a little excited.
Yeah, exactly. I can't
Yeah.
help it. Okay. All
But,
right. Anyway,
you know,
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt
okay.
the conversation. The Trump bashing.
Yeah, no.
Well, let me just say this. I hope that our Justice Department finishes the job, do a thorough investigation, and if they find all the things that we think he's done to be true, then prosecute him. Whatever
So
the
we can
law
stop talking
is.
about his ass. Thank you.
Well, no, we're never going to stop talking about him because he
Oh,
has made history based on stupidity. But he will go down in history as being a sour lemon, I believe. At the end of the day, regardless of all these supporters that he has, and I mean, they're not that smart. You know,
Well, some of them are smart. They're voting their pocketbook.
but most of them are broke. They ain't got
Not
no
most.
money.
Well, because there's just more broke people in the country
people
than
that
there
I
are.
see that get interviewed in the media, if that's a fair
Well, the
representation
media has
of
only
his
got
followers,
Yeah, but they can
then-
only interview so many people, and they interview the most interesting people for the camera. It's still the camera, but the majority of people are not that stupid. But that's my guess again, because I don't know every single American, and neither do you or
no,
any of us.
you don't have
But
to.
Well, you don't have to yet. But what I'm saying is that people in general, I think, vote their best self-interest, at least what they think is their self-interest. Like, for example, here in Georgia, the current governor is bribing people to vote for him by saying we're going to give you tax refunds. And he gave one tax refund. Now they had a budgetary surplus, so he said, "I'm going to give it back to the people," because that's the way you buy the loyalty of the people. So, give it back instead of doing all the things that need to be done in the state, all the things that they could have used they could have used the money for. So I'll give it back to the people because I need to be reelected.
Right.
Now he's saying, "Oh yeah, well, you know what? If you elect me again, I will give back all this money that we got left over."
It's called pimping.
Yeah, but I'm saying is to try to appeal to people's personal interests because he knows that, and maybe they all know something that we don't know, that people are generally selfish.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's perfect timing for a politician to try to pull something off like that because we've gone through 2.5 years of a pandemic, and here we got another, disease that's running wild.
Right.
So yeah, people are hurting.
We don't want to do the right. We don't want to do the right thing, Mr. Michaels. We want to win. That's
but that's the kind of politician you don't need in that position because they're not really looking out for the people. That's
no, they're not. They're looking out for their self-interest.
They want to stay in that position so they can continue to make money off of the backs of those people that are supporting them.
And right now, that is the American way. Right, Ron?
That needs a change.
Just saying.
I don't amplify that. I amplify that it needs to change. It has to stop.
Does.
Let's look at what just happened in Kentucky. flood there, right?
Oh man.
Unless I missed it, did we see Mitch McConnell out there in a rowboat or helicopter or flyover or out there in the media saying, don't worry about it, Kentucky. I'm here. I'm gonna call the president and get some stuff done and help my people. Did I miss that news press
You
release?
did not miss a thing.
I stopped watching
Where
the
is
news
he?
so much, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Now,
Where
now
is
they
he?
had a congressional representative on there, but it wasn't Mitch. He spoke up and said that he was going to be trying to get the relief funds and the national disaster funds into the state, but it was
Well,
not
the president spoke up and did that already.
Yeah.
Yep, he went there.
But as far as making the news circuit and the news cycle,
I missed it. If he did it, I missed
No,
it.
he didn't. He didn't. Yeah, he didn't do it. Like I said, they had a congressional representative from Kentucky that appeared on CNN and a couple of the other news cycles, but Mitch didn't do it.
And they keep voting him back in.
Yeah, that's their dog.
Not really, but they keep voting him back in. Okay, I'm finished. I'm finished with the politics. So whatever you guys want to do, but that's my hamburger, and I like to get in there because I want to see some change in my country. I love America, even when America doesn't love me. And I want to see it change and get back to being honest.
Everybody
fair.
loves you, Lee. Come on.
Well, I don't know about that. My first 6 wives, they didn't love me so much.
6. Damn.
Well, no, I'm sorry. It was 7. I'm sorry. My bad.
Love them and leave them alone, huh? Okay.
Anyway, so I throw it back to you, Mr. Bass.
Well, thank you, Mr. Michaels, as we throw it to Dr. Ron.
Well, thank you guys, as usual. I have another public service announcement on this week. I got a video queued up. Let's see, can we get this to play? I think this is an interesting public service announcement.
That wire fraud carried about 25 years.
Let me
They had 5 years.
Let me bring it back up again. It didn't go. Let's see. Hold on. We'll get it in a second here. There we go.
Fraud carried about 25 years. They had 5 years to catch up on this wire fraud. They no longer have 5 years, they have 10. So they don't have to be in any particular hurry. Now, if you mess with more than one agency across the board, they're going to notify the other ones, get your house in order. See, when you filled out the application, that was a charge. I want to say that was 2 to 5 years, but it's been a while since I did this video. I'm not doing the research. You got to do it. But wire fraud itself, once you had that money transferred into the bank, it was 25 years. Let me tell you what they're looking for, because they finna flag your account. If you had more than one PPP come to your one address, they're going to flag you. If your income tax returns for your business do not line up with what you told the SBA, they're going to flag you. If you didn't have a business registered when you filled out that application, they're going to flag you. If you purchased anything, if you started a business, if you used that money to fund a new business, they're going to confiscate all of it. The equipment, all of it. If you own anything, get it out your fucking name. Transfer that property. Start looking for a place for your children to go, because the United States is in the business of free labor, and they do not mind sending your ass to the penitentiary. They did it for the specific fact of sending you to the penitentiary, and they will build more. See, this is federal time. You will not seal these records. You got to be pardoned by the governor or the president. You done fucked up. If you have children who took this loan out, take them to see an attorney, because they're going to need it. If there's any time for our family to get together and take care of this thing right here, it's going to be now. Y'all think that this was something small. This was by design. They have people called forecasters that knew who would take the money and how they would get it. They set you up again. Y'all thought I was blowing smoke up y'all ass. He's signing bills in the law to make sure that they have an extended period of time. He done hired a special prosecutor. They firing people at the Chicago Housing Authority. 6,280 people are about to lose their housing and catch a federal charge. They can wipe their ass on their degrees to the tune of $135 million. stolen from the SBA. Right now, currently, they have prosecuted about 1,000 cases, and altogether, it's about $1 billion worth of PPP money. I'm going to say it again. Get your house in order, and whatever money you got in the bank, get that goddamn money out the bank. Transfer that property.
All right.
So who is that?
So this was a young lady
Last
that
year I told y'all
that made some warnings early on about people, and PPP loans. Don't do it. Don't go after it, because if you go after this money, they knew it was a setup. I told all my people, don't do it. Do not be foolish. I had accountants on my show that told people, do not do it. Do not go after this money if you're not a legitimate business. Now, if you're a legitimate business, then you can get this money, and because you're filing taxes and everything about your paperwork is proper and in order. But there were people that thought this was going to be free money, free checks. We're going to get a forgiveness. And like she said originally, that they had 5 years to come after you. Well, they just signed a bill that said now we got up to 10 years to come prosecute you. I know people that have received PPP loans, not just once, but twice, 20,000 each time, and don't even own a business. Talking about, I got a beauty shop. No, they don't. They don't have a business license. They don't even have a business incorporated in the state. They don't file business taxes. And those are the kind of things that are going to get people caught up. There was a young lady that gave me a testimony about a friend of hers. She ran into a friend of hers in a grocery store, and the young lady, she looked at her, she said she looked kind of perplexed, and she said, "What's wrong?" So she didn't want to talk about it first. And then she started breaking out in tears. And she asked her, "Well, what's wrong?" So they sat down and talked about it. She said, "Well, I got a PPP loan, and they asked me for the money back." And she didn't have the money, of course. So what they did was they took her Section 8 away from her. They took her food stamps away from her, and she got to go to jail. So her kids are now going to be living with somebody else because she got to go to jail. And when she get out of jail, she ain't going to be able to get on no type of government assistance because they took all of that away. They took her Section 8, her food stamp. Anything that she had that was government related is now gone. She can't get any of that. And her kids are going to be in a state of poverty because she thought she could be slick and go after this money.
What did she do with the money?
Probably something foolish. It wasn't what it was supposed to be used for. See, some people don't realize when you sign for a grant, there is a specific use that you're supposed to use that money for.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're an organization or a business, or this was SBA funds, like in your case, Lee, you applied for it because you have a transportation company. You already had a transportation company. You've been filing taxes for your transportation company. So that's records that when they look into your loan, they can say this is a valid business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not a problem. But they got people, man, that were applying for loans that did not have valid businesses. I know a young lady that applied for a $25,000 loan, got it, said she had a daycare. She applied on the application for the loan at an address that she ain't lived in 10 years. She didn't even live in that address and apply for the loan and got it. Okay. So they were granting these loans without proper investigation on the people that were, that were applying for them. And just like this young lady said, they had done demographics. They know who was going to apply for this money, and they know who they're going to be able to go capture after this. Because the people can't go anywhere. They can't, whatever little $20,000 that they got, that money is not around anymore. They ain't sitting on that money. They're coming to get that money. And they're coming to get you. So, this young lady was saying, look, you need to rally around your kinfolk, try and figure out a plan because their
Too
time is
late.
numbered. Yeah, well, their days are numbered.
It's too late.
If they have anything in their name, they're gonna freeze all of their assets because it's the federal government.
Yeah.
It's the IRS. They can get your money.
Well, you know what, though, Ron? They did wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so whatever the consequences are, I'm sorry. I know there were a lot of people going after those PPP and the EIDL and all the other, opportunities because times were tough for everybody. For 2.5 years, things were rough for most people, and I almost closed my doors. But I had my ducks in order. In fact, you had two opportunities. You could get two different PPP loans, and I only got one. And I barely got the one because I didn't apply until it was almost over with. Get down. So, looking back, I wish I had, because it would have allowed me to expand some more and keep the business afloat and even hire someone. But anyway, to make a long story short, there were a lot of people. This is a true story. What she's talking about, those people who took these loans and grants, and they shouldn't have.
Right.
They should have figured out something else. But now there's another element to this. There were people out there doing the paperwork for these people,
Exactly.
charging them $500 or $1,000 to do it. So the the scandal was, hey, don't worry about it. I'll take care of the paperwork, and I'll get you this money. It's free money. It's a grant. And all you got to do is use it this way, and boom, it's taken care of. Well, I got mine through Chase Bank. I talked to the banker there. I talked to my accountant. I filled out the information. They asked me for certain documents, and the bank knew what kind of income I had because that's where I banked. So, my PPP grant has already been forgiven.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost forgot to do the paperwork to get the thing forgiven, but I got it in time. Chase has contacted me, said they send it to the SBA, and the SBA has said, okay, we're going to forgive this grant.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a lot of money, but it helped. It helped me get some of my money back that I was putting in to keep the business afloat.
Exactly.
The payroll, it's the payroll protection program.
Right.
To help you keep people employed during that tough time. So
yeah,
that's
and
what it was for.
even big corporations took advantage of the situation.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And part of the problem, the residual problem that we're seeing with the airlines on today, is part of that problem. The airlines took those grants and loans, and when the airlines, after the allegedly the world start opening back up again, the airlines, still jump started very slowly, and they could not fire people until like October of that year. They started laying people off. They started getting rid of people, and people just didn't come back. When you start firing us, after you took all this money from the government to be able to keep us in a position, and the first chance you got rid of them, man, people say we ain't coming back. So they're short-staffed. Pilots, stewardess, ticket agents, everybody's not trying
they're on a frenzy trying to get people to come back to work, or to apply that's never applied before. And I know at one time, because my son is in the airline industry, works for United, and he was telling me about the bonuses and what have you they were offering people to sign up. And I'm talking about nice bonuses, $5,000-$10,000. So, and then pay for your moving if you have to relocate. But he's telling me now they've stopped all that. So, they're not even willing to pay for your moving expenses. But he got a sweet deal. He got a little signing bonus. They put him up in a hotel for 30 days, and they gave him a signing bonus, put him up, and paid for his move. So he got a sweet deal. So that's the way of the world. Things, we have hard times, and now keep in mind the PPP and the EIDL loans came under the previous administration, and it was not managed well. Congress on the EIDL loans said anybody that applies will automatically get a $10,000 grant, whether they granted you the loan or not. Well, under the Trump administration, the SBA, the person that was head of the SBA at the time, I can't remember her name, she decided, well, I'm only going to give $1,000. So there are people standing in line and protesting and jumping up and down saying, hey, she went against what Congress said this program, how it was supposed to work. And as of today, most people didn't get that $10,000. I didn't. And that was supposed to, whether you got the loan or not, the grant was to help you as a small business to stay afloat. So I want my $9,000.
Good luck with that.
And I want it right now.
Good luck with that. Look, I'm gonna tell you like the
Don't
girl
make me
said
a
in the
promise and
video.
not keep it.
Look, I'm gonna tell you like the girl said in the video. You better run and hide.
No, I got nothing to hide about.
I know.
I got to start paying that loan back in October.
Oh, okay.
That nine grand would help.
Yeah.
I'm being 100% honest, but things are still not back to normal. My business is not.
Yeah.
I'm still 52% less than what it was pre-COVID. So I know the transportation business is still hurting.
Yeah. And a lot of businesses, but like you said in the beginning of the conversation, some people did some wrong stuff. And, the government is all about getting free labor. They'll put you in a place and make money off of you, whatever you're doing, making license plates.
I don't think they put that program together to lock people up. I think
they knew the demographic of the people that were going to apply.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
Okay.
I don't think somebody was sitting around in the room saying
it panned out though, didn't it?
Well, that's because stupid people jumped in the fire and set themselves on fire. But the program I don't think it was set up. Well, okay, let's go ahead and present this out there and let's get some of these dumbasses and then we can get them off the streets and they won't vote. So no, I ain't buying that one.
Well, Lee,
that's some conspiracy shit right there.
I'm gonna have to beg to differ with you. You've never heard of sting operations before?
Yeah, but not during a pandemic. I don't think so.
Okay,
I think
operations are put together to tempt people that would normally not fall for larcenous things, fall for it because they have been given they've been dangled the fruit in front of them that they've never had a taste of before, and they got a chance to grab that fruit and try to better themselves and fall into what they call a sting operation. Now that's what the government does. The government put operations like that together for lay people that don't know no better and they don't listen to common sense, because you got people that'll tell you don't do it and you do it anyway. And then not only just once, but twice, and then you don't do nothing with the money that's worth, that's, intelligible. You know what I'm saying? Like she said in the commentary, even if you bought a business equipment and things of that nature, they're coming after that because you should have had all of that before you apply. And the terms and conditions of this grant or grants plural, was that you had an up and running operation, paying taxes, and everything was full functional, licensing, everything. And you went out there saying, oh, okay. And if you start, like she said, if you started a business after you've got the
Receiving the
PPP
money, yeah.
loan.
And she's 100% correct. I agree
Yeah.
with what she's saying. But I don't think even Donald Trump, his administration, sat in a room and came up with this idea to sting people. Nah. And I haven't seen.
And I think you're reaching too far up. I think it's a lower level management. You know, somebody, because that's how they put operations.
That's not the way
together.
the government works, man. Come on,
please. I've seen them operate like that.
Yeah, but that's more local or state, and I don't think the federal government put the PPP loan or grant together to get criminals to do criminal things. Nah.
Well,
not during that time.
Okay.
If it was something to do with drugs and alcohol or some other bullshit, then okay, because they did that. They put narcotics out into the minority neighborhoods and screwed a lot of people up. But that's, I don't know.
Well, you ever heard the expression, Lee, if it sounds too good to be true, it is?
No, but that wasn't too good to be true. That was
so if you are a person,
if you were a legitimate business and you went after it like I did, it's not too good to be true.
Okay, now listen, here we go.
It's legit.
Let's spin the yarn. Chris comes to me and says, hey, I can hook you up with this PPP loan. All you got to do is fill out this paperwork and sign on it. Now, he works in the financial institution.
Yeah.
And he knows how to fill out the paperwork in order to get this to be successfully accepted.
He's a criminal.
Now, me, I'm the idiot. I don't know no better. Okay. So I'm like, I'm sitting here listening to Chris tell me, oh, they're going to forgive it anyway.
Right.
So where do I sign at? So
Chris is
not knowing no better.
The benefit to Chris, first of all, is he's going to take a piece of the action.
Exactly.
Okay, and you don't care because he said, hey, look, I can get you $20,000. I'm only going to charge you $500 or $1,000, whatever he wants. Well, and you're going to say, okay.
And he gets money for being the application processor too. TOO also.
Yeah, he's double dipping.
Right.
But you said okay.
Right.
And you knew it wasn't okay.
Because I trust Chris.
Well, yeah, but okay, but the ignorance of the law is no excuse. You know that.
I do. So
I'm not buying your conspiracy theory.
No, but I'm just saying, because I trust Chris and what he is telling me.
Right.
I didn't think
he was pimping you.
At any given time down the road, 5-10 years, they're gonna be knocking on my door talking about what you're doing for the next 25 years.
You don't know all that because Chris told you don't worry about it. They're gonna forgive it. It's a grant.
Right. Exactly.
It's a grant. They're gonna forgive it. All you got to do is use it to pay your payroll. Period.
And it's so many people that have fallen for the rope-a-dope that are now under the microscope of the IRS, whatever the governing agency that's coming after them, because all they wanted to do was just have an opportunity that they never had before. And that's get some fast money. Now they sitting at home collecting unemployment.
In that regard, Dr. Ron, you're right.
Yeah.
Too good to be true.
Yeah.
But you took the advantage of the opportunity.
Absolutely.
It was presented to you. So go to jail. Shit. I mean, come on. You knew you were messing up. You knew you were wrong.
I'm gonna call Chris. Say, hey, Chris, can you help me get out of this thing?
No. No. Your ass is on fire.
Yeah,
you're going to jail.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, that I have to say this, that people of color, Black, African American, you know, we don't always make the right decisions, you know, when it comes to money. Okay. You know, we make bad decisions. And that's what exactly happened. You know, it's a lot of people, you know, that were suffering, that were hungry, and they thought that was a way out. They thought it was an opportunity, you know, and it's going to cost them more than what they got.
Desperate.
You know, yeah, desperate.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Sure.
You know,
and when you're desperate, you will go for the okie doke.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So basically, you know, basically the bottom line is, you know, based on the public service announcement for today, pack your bags and bring your toothbrush because you're going
Yeah.
because the Fed don't play.
Yeah, she said, call your family, get your family. It's too late. The family
Yeah.
can't help you.
Well, you know, help you get a lawyer, to help
No,
you get a good deal.
They
Yeah.
probably broke too. So
Yeah.
you're going to jail.
Yeah.
You get a
Yeah.
public defender and hope for the best.
Yeah. Well, Chris, on that sweet note right there, you know, Lee Road Dog Michael said you're going to jail and he don't feel sorry for you.
Don't. Nope.
That's
over.
it. That's all.
Go to jail. Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Nope. Hell nope.
Yep. That's
And,
it. That's all.
And since you threw me into the whole thing about pimping, I'll just say this for myself: pimping ain't easy.
Yes.
I'll leave it at that.
From personal experience, huh?
That's right.
No comment.
The pimp's got to get his piece first.
Oh man.
Oh man. When this story comes out, we're always thinking about justice, and then you think about, will justice ever occur? So, as everybody knows by now, a Mississippi grand jury declined to indict the white woman who accused, of course, Emmett Smith back in 1955, during this time of kidnapping and death, making it unlikely she will ever be prosecuted for her role in the lynching that fueled the civil rights movement. A grand jury in Leflore County listened to more than 7 hours of testimony from investigators and witnesses last week before determining there was insufficient evidence to indict Carolyn Bryant Donham, 87 years old, on charges of kidnapping and manslaughter. It is the second time a grand jury has heard evidence against Donham. The Reverend Wheeler Parker, who was Till's cousin, called the outcome unfortunate but predictable. Reverend Parker goes on to say, the prosecutor tried his best, and we appreciate his efforts, but he alone cannot undo hundreds of years of anti-black systems that guarantee those who killed Emmett Till will go unpunished to this day. So we're getting to about nearly 70 years of this unfortunate tragedy, of course, as he said, did spark the civil rights movement. And right to this day, you have to understand that you're fighting against institutionalized racism. No matter where you are, there's going to be somebody who does not like you because of your skin tone, because of your sex, or hell, just because of who you are. And it's not fair, but the people in power always do without the privileges. And change comes from within. There's a scene in the movie, The Shawshank Redemption. So Red, played by Morgan Freeman, throughout the whole movie goes to the parole board. He gives them the spiel, and they always hit denied. Until that 1 year, like 20 years down the road, he walks in, there's younger people, there's a woman on the board, and he wasn't playing around. He just gave them, hey, stop going and stop pushing your pencils, you youngster, and quit wasting my time. And because of that honesty, and because the change happened from within the system, he was approved for his parole. And that happens from within, but it's a two-edged street because during the time you're making change from within, you're fighting against institutionalized racism. And that's the never-ending battle. To fight racism is a never-ending battle. So I think about what if, when it comes to Emmett Till, what if he was able to live past 14 years old, to go to high school, possibly college, possibly into the military, to become something he wanted to become, to be a doctor or a lawyer or anything he wanted to become, to be alive, to wish his mother happy Mother's Day, or to say, how you doing, I love you. That was taken away from him. And when you look at Donham's situation, whose story has flip-flopped and changed over the years, you are still responsible for a 14-year-old boy being murdered, for a 14-year-old teenager being killed. You have to
Something he
give
didn't do.
for exactly. But see, then I think about the unnamed Emmett Tills that we don't know about, the unnamed people that we don't have no knowledge of, that have been murdered, have been slaughtered, that never made the press, that never made intel, never made anything local to put on paper. Those people are gone. And Mamie Till's courage to say, you know what, no, I want the world to see what happened to my son with the open coffin that we've all seen many, many times. Very horrific, unrecognizable. But she wanted to put the face of racism in that situation. National press, Ebony Jeter at the time, when you're able to look at those pictures and think about that could be my son, that could be my friend, hell, that could be me, when you break it down for what it is. And it's unfortunate that it's still refused, but we have to champion the cause, because had it not been for this, you wouldn't have a Dr. King, Medgar Evers, and Malcolm X down the road, because they were able to see the evil within racism and fight against it. What if Emmett Till lived to work aside Dr. King? All these what ifs came to my mind. And it's a damnedest of shame that institutionalized racism continues to exist, because this should have been taken care of a long time ago. They should have been put under the jail. No, damn that. Build a new jail and put them under it for the rest of their lives. But again, you have people in place and people in power to make sure that what has happened stays intact. You don't have to be vocal to be powerful. If you are able to do it behind the scenes, there's an old line from KRS-One, the rapper, real bad boys move in silence. This happens here too. But we cannot constantly ignore what's happening back in 1955 and damn sure not going on in 2022. And it's very insulting, but we got to continue to fight.
So question.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to proceed based on what? That it was just too long ago to go.
Too long ago and insufficient evidence.
Insufficient evidence. But she's admitted.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, she filed a false police report. She accused this young man of doing something that he didn't do. That's a criminal offense, isn't it?
Last I checked.
Is that a misdemeanor or a felony?
I had to go back and check, but still, it wasn't acted upon.
Yeah. Right.
And lynching and the murder,
right?
And even
the people that perpetrated that, yeah.
They felt like, I think it was like within the last 5 or 10 years, I can't remember exactly when, they brought the charges up for her to be prosecuted, and it still didn't go anywhere.
Hey, what's up, Buck?
All right. Now, Kal-El, you said a minute ago that it was, you see, he's got the Superman shirt on, right? That's why I said Kal-El.
Right.
So everybody else catch up. Okay. That the whole Emmett Till death incident sparked the civil rights movement, right?
Right, correct.
So if it hadn't happened, would there not be, let's assume there would not have been a civil rights movement, then what? Where would we have been? I'm just asking.
It would have been something else, because it was going on already.
But that was just one of the incidents, because the bus boycott was one of the major ones as well. You know,
I mean, I wasn't alive, Cal. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, we understood.
Yeah,
but there were numerous situations or events that happened like that, and probably worse, if you can imagine, but it didn't get publicized. Lynching was done every day.
Yes,
from slavery time up until it had to go away.
Yeah, and
So
Billie
there are
Holiday
millions
made a
of people
Billie
murdered.
Holiday made a major song that disrupted the entire federal government.
Strange fruit.
Yes, sir. They made a
I don't know
movie
how I
about
knew
it.
that.
Yeah, they made a movie about it when she went down south. And not she wasn't the only one. There were many artists like Ray Charles and others that refused to, play into the, the segregated South's, racist behavior.
Great
And
movie.
yeah, and the civil rights movement is basically what we're standing on, the rights, privileges, and benefits that we have today. Being able to go into a restaurant and sit where we want to sit, being able to go into a bathroom without having to find a colored bathroom. There were many things that came out of the civil rights movement of the 50s and the 60s. There were many people that were abused. And, I talked about that not too long ago when we talked about, police brutality. Police sicking dogs and beating people in peaceful protests. They attack us just because of the color of our skin.
So speaking of bathrooms, colored bathrooms. So I don't know if you guys remember, at least the radio people remember when Tony Gray was part owner of a radio station in Mobile, Alabama, about 1999. It was WYOK. So I went down there to help him out before he sold it, to do mornings for a little while until they sold the station. They sold it to somebody, Cumulus. But the building was so old. The program director walked me around. He was showing me the building. He says, "You see these 4 doors right here, these 4 bathrooms? Why are there 4 doors next to each other? Right next to each other. Boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. The building was that old that they still had the bathrooms white and colored, Blew me away.
Yeah.
I've told that story 1,000 times. Never publicly, but it was like, wow.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm old enough to remember those days. My mother and I took a bus ride to New York City from Virginia, from Norfolk. And I was 5 years old, 1955. And by the time we went up Route 13, this was before there was a bridge tunnel that connected the Eastern Shore to Virginia Beach. It was a ferry. You had to get on the bus pulled on this boat, and it went across the entrance of the Chesapeake Bay to go over to Cape Charles, which was a part of Virginia. Anyway, little 5-year-old, by the time we got up to around Salisbury, Maryland, I had to go pee-pee. Okay. So I said to my mom, I got to go to the bathroom. She goes, oh boy, hold on. So she went up to talk to the bus driver about when he was going to stop next and whether or not there was a bathroom that I would be able to go to. He said, well, the next stop is going to be in Salisbury, Maryland, but it's a gas station and there's no colored bathroom.
Wait, so this was, you guys are on a
Greyhound
bus?
Greyhound
So this is before trains?
No, trains were out before then, but I don't know why we took the bus. Maybe it was because that was
Because your mother
affordable.
said
I don't
so.
know. Yeah, because my mom said so. Right.
I started to say before planes, but I mean,
Yeah.
trains is funnier.
Like you was paying the bill. I don't know why we get on it. Because your mama said so.
Right. That's it. So when the bus stopped, I had to go to the bathroom. So the bus driver said, just take him around back, in the woods and let him do his thing. And that's what I had to do. I didn't have no choice. I had to go pee up against a tree. And it could have been a rattlesnake or something. I mean,
well, it's a good thing you didn't get arrested.
Well, that could have been a possibility. I don't know what the laws were in Maryland during that time about going urinate up against a tree, but
That's a little black boy.
right.
Yeah.
So
Well, at least you weren't taking horses.
No. But those are real experiences. I remember going to Woolworths and not be able to buy a hot dog and a cherry Coke and eat it at the counter. You could take you could take it home, but you couldn't eat at the counter.
That was one of the things when I went to Greensboro, North Carolina. They're like, this is the famous Woolworth where they had the protests, and that's one of the things at the very beginning of the civil rights movement. I was like, what Woolworth? I had no idea.
Yeah, so 5 and dime as they called them back in those days.
Woolworths. No, we had a Woolworths in Oakland.
Yeah,
We went every once in a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't just there; it was any place that sold food and what have you. That was the way it was.
You know what's interesting footnote I mentioned before on this program when Ron mentioned about Billie Holiday and Strange Fruit. Her musical mentor was Louis Armstrong, and so she had patterned her singing after his trumpet playing, the cadences and things like that, where she did it in a vocaling style. And so when you look at the two parallel, they both had protest songs. As before, Louis Armstrong's was Black and Blue. That was his protest song. And then you fast forward to Billie Holiday with Strange Fruit. I think anybody who takes the stance and use their platform to help, to get messages out, to go beyond their craft on a different level. Because obviously when they help people, going back to what Ron said about Ray Charles, and, stop playing Jim Crow in the South. We see it in the movie, as a matter of fact, in the documentary too, because Taylor Beckford, who directed the movie, had a documentary about Ray before that. And I've never seen a documentary made into a movie where everything is in order. Everything that was documented in the documentary was the same thing in the movie as portrayed, as you've seen. And so when you saw the scene when he turns around from Georgia and you'll never play Georgia again, things like that, that was big time. Because like they had an exchange between him and Quincy Jones, played by Lorenz Tate. It was like, look, man, you take the money all you want to. I don't want the money from the South.
Hey, Ron, he means documentary. Just so you know.
Ron's face is priceless on that one, Jay.
Yeah, I've learned not to pay Buck no attention.
If Ron could have spit it and let it just drip down into your scene.
Hey, Buck, do you go to the same suntan place that Trump goes to? Why are you kind of like yellow-orange kind of?
I like a warm, it's warm. I'm a warm person. So I like my picture to look warm.
Like you're on fire, glowing.
Yes. It's my heavenly glow.
Okay.
I'm angelic.
Ooh,
Yellow man.
Yeah.
Exactly. And maybe the yellow shirt doesn't help, huh?
Yeah, that's probably.
Ain't that right, Ron?
Yeah. Maybe it's a reflection off of that.
As Ron looks in disgust.
I don't even hear him.
Yeah, it's because it's irrigated.
It's like,
he doesn't have his hearing aid in today. That's all right.
It's like, hiss in the atmosphere. So back to the point that even nowadays we overlook and don't pay homage to the struggle. There was a very serious struggle that took place. Like Chris mentioned last week when we talked about Bill Russell. Bill Russell was in the struggle. He did things to try and help bring about a change, even though he was the number one basketball player in the NBA on the court. He also was a number one activist off the court. And he did things to try and bring about a change. That nowadays in 2022, the existing government would like to take us back to those days and make us relive, some of those experiences, because they felt like those were the good old days for them. When you think about, like we talked about last year and maybe even the year before, antebellum, how they would kidnap people and put them on a plantation and make people live the rest of their days on that plantation in a modern day time, because that's what the good old boys want. They believe in having that type of lifestyle again, where people of color, brown, black, whatever you go by this week, we have to struggle in order to keep those things from happening in our lifetimes. Like Chris will say many times, that could be my children. That could be what my children have to deal with. And I've got grandchildren. I'm going to try and struggle to try and make sure that they don't have to live through what my ancestors lived through. And that's the reality of what we're faced with right now. We still have the mentality of government officials that don't think that white woman that lied on Emmett Till should not have to face consequences that caused the death of Emmett Till.
A time and a place for people, especially as they get older, is something that, I think we'll have to live with in society for the rest of our lives. It's unfortunate that, it couldn't be reconciled at the time, someone going to jail for murder, so on and so forth. I think what we have to do is put it in the history books and, just remember that there was a time and a place. That's why it's called history, because there's nothing we can do. I mean, articles can come out, this can happen, he didn't go to jail, she didn't do this. Because it happened in my race, of course, I'm conscious of it. But at the same time, we can't spend a lot of time on it because there's no activation. And that activation, it's too late. You know what I'm saying? It's history. And I think that the most important thing is that we have to look at it and honor it as history and never let them forget. You know what I mean? Now, never letting them forget doesn't mean every 5 minutes we're beating the drum about it, but it's a piece in history. And, our history is very rich, even though it was in a downturn, it was rich. And you know who, Ron, to be honest with you, it's most important to our children than it is the public at large. Because this age, this demographic that has reached a level of popularity at such a young age has no clue of what's suffering, not being able to go outside, what it means. You could be shot, you could be lynched. Things can happen to you with no control. You wouldn't be able to stand on the corner. Now we ain't taking this no more. No. And see, y'all can do all of that would be shut down in a moment's notice. And so I think what we have to do is take this history and ensure that it's in the right place so the teaching can be done. And that's why this whole critical thing about teaching about racism and slavery in the classroom has to be carefully done, because it can be misdirected at any time. We'll never forget the Emmett Till story, and we shouldn't. But we have to find a place as African Americans in our culture to have it where it's a point of reference, like those World Book encyclopedias were on the bookshelf in your house, in the dining room, in the living room, in your bedroom. Because right now, social media is the king of our mindset. And Lee can tell you this. I'm not sure. Ron, did you tell me you've driven Uber and Lyft before?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The first thing people do, they get in the car. It's hard for some people to have conversations. I'm finding that people are struggling right now to have conversations.
Especially the younger ones, huh?
Well, people in general, because they're not used to communicating in public. Sometimes it's easy to communicate with people when you go to a party or if you go to a place in public, you're always looking for someone Hey, man, what's going on? What's happening? Man, how you been doing? What's going on? How many times you going to ask me that every time you see me? So we have to put ourselves in a situation where we can have conversation. And that's what's missing. People get in the car and bury themselves in that phone. And I can hear what they're doing most of the time. They're either going through TikToks and Instagram readings and so on and so forth. But people are learning how to get in the car. They'll say, hey, how was your day today? How you doing? And when I hear that, I know right then and there, they're trying not to get in the car and look at their phone. You need to be paying attention to everything that's going on around you.
Yep.
Instead of having your face buried in the phone. As soon as you get in the car, hey, you got to charge it because my phone ain't charged up.
And you can't say no because otherwise they'll give you a bad review.
Well, I've said no a lot of times, but you know what I had to do? The little charger piece that takes the URL, as soon as they're done with it, I take it back and I keep it. Because what will happen is after I leave it in there so they can plug into the lighter that's in the back, they'll end up taking it. Some on purpose and some by mistake. So you have to remind yourself, get that connection out of there.
You know what I used to do is I would have the cable coming from up front and extend it to the back, get a 6-foot cable.
Well, see, I got all those taken because I keep it in the car and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you're right. You could do that. You could do that as well. But I think that's the whole thing, Ron, is that we've got to get a society of people back into, just like they remember their past, we can't forget about ours. And it seems like, without throwing any shade, it seems like African Americans are trying to throw some of that away because it's hard to deal with. But it's even harder to deal with. Day before yesterday, a guy got in the car. This is the lowest I've ever seen sagging. His pants were right above his kneecaps.
Wouldn't get in my car. Sorry.
Well, I'll take his money, but it just looks, and watching him get out of the car and walk to his door, gap-legged.
Yeah, I saw a guy today coming into the hotel. It was with a lady and a young baby. And I'm going, what the hell? I wanted to say something to him. Say, hey, brother, pull your pants up. And then the belt he had on had a bunch of rhinestones and shit in it. It was like, I'm sorry. It just doesn't represent. It doesn't. I'm sorry. If I'm offending somebody, too bad, so sad. We've gone through a lot. All kind of protests, murders and killings and lynches and all that shit. It's time for us to step it up. Step it up. Now, let me go back, and I wanted to make a comment about the Emmett Till situation. One of the reasons why people don't trust our government, our police departments, the FBI, the CIA, the Boy Scouts of America. We don't trust the authorities because they never right the wrong. Now, if the grand jury had indicted this lady for what she did, 70 years ago? Mm-hmm. Then that would put faith back into the system for those who are skeptical that it never works. And that's a prime example. 14-year-old boy was beat to death beyond recognition. His mother couldn't, I don't know how she identified him other than the fact he was missing. He didn't look like little Emmett. So, that being said, those type of changes have to come about in order for us to move forward without a bad taste in our mouth and have trust and faith in the justice system. That when anybody does something wrong, that justice will be served. And I yield back my time.
Well, again, it's just one of those things where, go back to what Mike said, it's history. And we should learn from it. And we should honor it, and we should have conversations about it, because we have the freedoms because people sacrificed, or unfortunately, were taken out and murdered. Like, for example, you have a conversation with somebody who always tell you, oh man, that was me. I was back in slavery. I would beat the white man's ass. No, you would not have.
No, you would not.
You can't take this mentality here and go back in the day. Don't you understand that a lot of those people had to survive? So the Yowza boss and yes ma'am and no ma'am, that was a survival tactic. Why? Because he wanted to get lynched. The reason why you can say that, because someone paid the way for you to have the right and the freedom of your mind to think that way. Because back in the day, if you were a house Negro, please try to go up against the master. That was the end of your life.
Yeah.
Negro, period.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know, some people may find it hard to believe, but if you lived in the North and you tried to travel to the South, like say Louisiana, it was common knowledge, never stop anywhere in Mississippi. You got to make sure you got enough gas when you leave Memphis, Tennessee, to be able to get all the way down to Louisiana. Because
what about Alabama?
If you're going from the north all the way, well, Alabama was not a good place either.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Mississippi had the reputation. Do not stop. Do not stop, because you could wind up missing, MIA. You know, just going to New Orleans, because New Orleans was always been a hot spot.
My mom said there used to be a sign when you're entering Mississippi, and it said "Run N-word, run" or something like that. I was like, sure there wasn't in Alabama?
But yeah, it was, the whole South was like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and in 1970, late 78, I was driving across country from LA. I just left 1580K Day. I was going to be program director and operations manager at WGIV in Charlotte. And my wife and I were driving across country. And we stopped at a gas station. I want to say it was in Mississippi or Louisiana, Mississippi. And I was driving, and no, my wife was driving, and I got out to get the gas. Well, for some reason, and this was when your cars automatically had the headlights on, but allegedly down there that if a female was driving and she had her lights on in the daytime, that was a signal to the police to check out the situation. Now,
what does check out the situation mean?
In other words, she was in danger.
Oh.
And it usually applied when there was a mixed couple in the car. So my wife was Mexican-American, fair skin, dark hair.
Look white.
She could have maybe passed for that. I didn't think so, but maybe. So when I'm out there getting the gas, the cop comes up and says to her, "Are you okay?" She says, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why would you ask?" "Well, you had your headlights on, and that's a signal that you may be in some kind of trouble." She says, "Well, I didn't realize I had the lights on, but thank you." And so again, he says, "Are you sure?" And at this point, I'm hearing, pieces of the conversation. So I came up to him. I said, "Is there a problem, officer?" He goes, "Stand back. I'm not talking to you." I went, "But you're talking to my wife?" "Oh, this is your wife?" I said, "Yes, that's my wife." And she said, "Yeah, that's my husband." And he says, "Okay, well, have a good day." But do you know this guy followed us for about 20 miles?
Well,
Yowza.
Because she could have been afraid and just been going along for the hell of it. And then if he had gone and then hours later they found her dead, he would have been feeling like, I should have followed through.
Yeah, you could have been kidnapping her.
Yowza.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
And that's not an unusual story going through the South.
Right.
This is the kind of stuff you see on TV.
Yeah.
You know, this was
those
in
are
real
true
life.
stories. Yeah.
In real life. And
Yeah.
that's why I say, you know, the blood of our ancestors cries out for us to never, ever let the world forget what has happened.
Yowza.
That's the nice word. And speaking of Yowza, we go to 7, also known as Mr. Mike Love.
Thank you so much. You know, speaking of race of women, Lee, you go right into the Street News Now People Poll of the Week. Yeah, I created it. Any objections from the panel? All right. So one of the things that came up in a recent conversation, and it kind of threw me off because I'd never heard this before. And the question came up now, before I go into what we were talking about, we've got people who follow the show, and you have a comment box where however you're looking at it on YouTube, we're on Watch or whatever devices that you may be on. So I want you guys to be involved, because actually this is a people poll for the people that are following us, and the panel will scan across it as well with their thoughts as well. So here it is. What race of women make the best housewives? Now, the selection, number 1, Black women, number 2, white women, number 3, Latino women, number 4, Asian women, or number 5, African women. The question, this is our Street News Now People Poll question of the week. What race of women make the best housewives? Now, before answering this question, ask yourself, if your decisions are based on cultural backgrounds, geographical boundaries, or basic experience with any of these races of women, as you know. Okay? So, once again, when I say cultural backgrounds, you know, there's some things about, you know, different cultures, women do certain things, you know. As far as geographical, you know, when you look at things that happen amongst African women, there are things that they do for their men that it ain't gonna pass the sniff cup here in the U.S. What race of women make the best housewives? And so we're gonna start with our panel first. And if you don't want to, you know, commit yourself, I don't know is an answer as well.
All right, I'll jump in the pool first.
Okay. Yeah, you've been married 45 times, so that would be
and to different races.
Eight times, not 45, 8 times.
And to different races of women.
So yeah, out of the 5, I've been married to 3 out of the 5. Black, white, Hispanic. I must have been lucky because all of them were good housekeepers, or they took care of the house. So based on my life experience, I equal, but I don't know about the African. And what was the other one? Asian,
African, and Latino, African. White, and black.
Yeah, I never married the Asian or the African. I dated one Asian girl and one African girl, but they didn't make it. They didn't make it to the altar. So I can say this: I got lucky, and you know, I had no issues in the housekeeping department.
All right, our Street News Now People Poll question of the week: what race of women make the best housewives? So for all those people out there that follow us, we want you to go to the comment box and put in there. And if you have a comment, if you say you don't know, it's all up to you. And basically, we picked the top 5, which we thought were the top 5. And that was Black women, white women, Latino women, Asian women, and African women. Chris, you want to step to the plate?
I'll just read Jerry's.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Jerry says Asian, but they don't have big asses. Next comes African, because both have a different moral standard. until they come to the USA and get turned. This would be get turned out. That's because they lost and turned
Or
out.
trained.
Also,
Yeah.
see what's up to Mark. Mark says, "Well, I'm from Belize, and I would say Belize women."
So Latino.
So yeah, that would be pretty close to Latino. But going back to what Chris just said about the African, I had a African passenger in the car today, and we were talking about polygamy, and she was saying that she had 4 different grandmothers because her dad was married to 4 women at the same time.
Wow.
Damn.
And so she went into the discussion of how this went down. So what happens is the father marries the first wife and then gives her a certain amount of land, okay, like an acre, whatever the case may be. Now, he wants to get married again for whatever reason, but the first wife gets to pick the second wife. When she picks the second wife, then she gets an acre of land. Now, they don't all live in the same house together. So each wife, the number 1 wife is living with the husband in the first house. The number 2 has her own house, and he goes by and pays visits and makes sure everything is okay. And they have to take care of it. Even though he set it up for them to have the property, and it's in their name, it's in his and her name, she's responsible for the upkeep of the property and everything that happens there, okay? And then the second wife gets to pick the third wife, and the third wife gets to pick the fourth wife. Now, she said as the generations got closer to where we are today, they don't practice polygamy anymore. But she did say she had, through 2 generations, she has 4 grandmothers. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's deep.
I would
Ron?
think that my total guess. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ron. You go first.
No, go ahead, Buck.
Age
Yeah, go
before
ahead.
beauty. Oh, my guess, because I've never been married. I've dated a lot, but never been married. My guess would be, I had to agree with Yeri, and that is Asian women, because they seem to put their men first. And when I'm in a relationship, I've been told that I'm a little bossy.
No.
So if you're not going to let me boss you around, then it's a no-go.
That's
what
why
they
you've
say.
never been married.
That's why I've never been married, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
No one's
doubt.
deserved me.
No,
But I
they've been
think
lucky.
if anyone would have been deserving, it might have been an Asian.
Mm.
But I agree with Yeri.
Yeah, she would have to be straight off of the airplane and not speak English.
I I'm from California. California is very heavily Asian. And I specifically, Ron, love Filipinos. You just don't find them outside of California and Baltimore. For some reason, Baltimore has a huge Filipino population. I don't even know why.
Close to the water. And
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that it?
It's import.
And then they say Toronto.
area?
Remember I'm always talking about Toronto? They say Toronto is 43% Asian. Can you imagine how beautiful the women are there? Yes. Everybody's like, oh, there's the most beautiful women in the world.
Well, let's stick with the question, the people poll
Sorry.
question.
Whoever has the best vagina.
Say that again.
You heard me.
I did not. I didn't hear you. I'm telling you the truth.
Whoever has the best vagina.
Well, that's not. I mean, you don't have to. That's possible. I mean, everybody wants to be pleased. I mean, in some situations, you got a race of women that are better housekeepers. You have a race of women who are great company to be with.
Okay.
It just. I don't, and I want to wait to make this comment that I want to say until after we hear from Ron. Lee pretty much gave us an overall, but we want to see some of the comments too, and Chris will bring those in if anybody else has anything else to say. Ron, where are you at, Dr.
Well, I've been married quite a few times in my lifetime as well.
Were they all to one race of woman?
No.
And how many times, Ron?
I'm trying to, get there. So I have actually been with every one of those nationalities. And the key point that's the common denominator in what has been brought forth is that until they get to America, they still have their homeland,
Values.
values and favoritisms on how they do things. So once they get to America and American women, pollute them or create a different mindset in who they are and
Infect them.
Give them an identity that they would not have had unless they came to America, then that creates a problem for social behavior. So I would have to say universally, every woman that I've ever been with has had something beautiful to bring to the table. And even after they've been in America for a while, it's still, worthwhile being with. So I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna have a harem with all present.
Hey, Chris, you want to cover a couple of those comments right quick?
Ron, it's too late, dog. It's too late.
Oh man!
You mentioned Jerry again. Carmelita did everything. Stood in the rain for the taxi, put my horn in my case, ran my bath, cooked while I was in the tub, then wanted to get in the tub and feed me. And actually, that pissed me off. I could feed myself.
What race is Carmelita?
Latino, dude.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah,
I know a lot of black women named Carmelita.
Really?
Then he goes on to say, both American black wives took me to the cleaners, even the one I didn't marry. Took a lot of shit. LOL.
And look, y'all remember in like
hold on, he said Filipina.
Filipina.
Oh, well, get out of here.
Yeah. Y'all remember In Like Flint?
Yes.
Yeah.
He had a lot of women in his harem.
But we're talking about marriage.
Okay.
We said wives. What race of women make the best housewives?
Okay.
Lee, did you want to circle back around?
No, I don't know. I think that's very individual. I think you can probably get a bad lemon in any of those cultures. And I guess that depends on what you expect or what you need, in your household. So,
well, let me say this. I've been married to a black woman. I've only dated the others. I've never dated an African woman. And I've never dated or had sex with an African or an Asian woman. Between a black, white, and Latino, I've only been married to a black woman. I've had relationships with white women and Latino women. I always get the impression between the three that the Latino woman, for me personally, would probably be the one that would serve me well.
Except she's super jealous.
I can only talk about me.
Okay.
So, like I said, once again, all women pretty much are super jealous if they feel that you've done something to disrespect them, and that's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not putting black women second or third. It's really kind of hard to rank in this situation, and I'm not sure, not as a cop-out to say that it would be fair to do that. But once again, as a people poll question, there are other people who follow us and can bring some insight to, if you wanted to narrow it down to say, well, I've been married to a black woman, I've been married to a white woman, and this is what I got. It really, I don't think, to be honest with you, and I think Lee can speak on this probably Lee and Ron, both of you guys have been, how many times were you married, Ron? Did you say more than once?
4.
So you were married 4 times. Lee was married 5 times. And the thing, I'm sorry.
9.
You were married 9 times.
Yeah.
The thing of it is, I get the impression that all women are the same. For the most part, there's a cosmic part of them that doesn't change. But I think some cultural parts of it can make a difference to how they look at a man, how they perceive what they should be doing for their man. Professor Reggie Miles has just checked in. You got a comment, brother?
Well, hold on a second. I just find it funny that Clark Kent hasn't said anything about his personal opinion. Clark?
There's nothing funny about it. Ain't no ha ha he. Shit. Look, I only been married once, and she was African American, and that's all I got. So it's hard for me to have an opinion about that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Right. So that's all I got.
That's fair, Cal.
Yeah. I like that Cal shit. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Me too. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I do apologize. I'm thinking like I'm getting ready to get home and get on the show. I forgot I didn't even set up the studio until tonight because I had a gig.
Now, Professor, this
He came in to say goodbye.
Always set up, man.
No, man. Because I had been on a hiatus. I hadn't been doing nothing, just lightly commenting and stuff on social media all this week. Because Morgan started school Monday, and I started teaching Monday. So I couldn't. Without the wife, I can't stir up and do everything. I had to just like dial back. And so, and then we was out getting her school supplies and stuff and doing her little shopping. And then I'm thinking I checked in with you guys. Well, I'll be home and I'll be in a few minutes. And man, I walked in the door. I said, oh God, the computers and stuff was still at the door. I did a reunion last weekend and got another 2 reunions coming up. So I'll be like taking the equipment down, up and down, up and down.
I do the same thing. And I have a gig and I got my cameras all in the bag. And then that's why I was late today too. I was late too. African American, we can't help it.
And so I said, whoa. So, but I'm gonna solve that though. I'm about to grab that M1. I'm gonna get the.
I've been thinking about it too. Oh, what? Which one you gonna get? The studio or the mini?
I'm gonna get the iMac first, and then I'm gonna get the big M1 iMac, and then I'm gonna go after the studio.
Is the iMac out?
Yeah, the iMac has got the M1 in it already. It's real thin.
Yeah, that was the first one they came out with.
The iMac?
Yeah, the iMac. Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm gonna get that desktop. I'm gonna get the desktop and then go ahead on and get the
studio.
Studio, right? Or either a good Mac Mini. I'm still like trying.
Wait till the M2 comes out, which is the fall. It's a couple months.
Well, it depends on what you're going to use it for.
Well, I'm definitely using the M1 for my social media and for my engine to do my streaming and stuff like that.
We're talking about Apple computers, by the way, in case you're not a geek like we are.
No, we're actually talking about which race of women make the best housewives. That's what.
As we were, and we were actually Chris was about to wrap it up.
Yeah,
right.
Well, listen, I've been married twice. Both of my wives were good. I messed up the first time and was messing up the second time. So they good women.
Well, the question is, were both African American?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
I haven't been international or global thing. It's in my family. It's in my family, but I haven't done it. My cousin is married to a German. One of my cousins is married to a German, and the other cousin is married to a Swedish woman.
How are those relationships going? How are those marriages going?
Great, I'm sure.
Sure. My cousin has been with his wife at least like over 40, 50 years. And my other cousin, he's an international gospel singing star by the name of Kirk Smith. And so he's been with his wife 10, 15, they might be 15, 20 years into their marriage, and so, and as a matter of fact, one of his children is over here getting an education.
Well, there you
have it. Perfect time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Need that M1.
Yeah, well, he probably that was God working before he got himself in trouble.
Or 5950.
Well, you can still make comments on our social media projects whenever you want to, and I'm going to throw it back because we got to wrap up to Chris.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, sounds like a plan. And the plan has now come to an end. You have been connected to Street News Now, SNN.
Hey, Chris, wait a minute, Chris.
Hold on, here comes the church figure. We was almost out of here.
Yeah, I just
Let's
wanna
let him
say,
talk for 15 more minutes.
No. This is real quick. I just want to say my birthday is at midnight, and I just wanted to say thank you all for wishing me happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
That's it. That's all.
And many, 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 many more.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday.
What number is this?
65. I finally caught up with Mike.
Shit.
Yes, sir. Hallelujah. Ha ha.
We made
Oh,
it.
that's lovely. That's sweet.
Welcome to the dark side of 65.
Yes, sir.
And again,
All
so
right.
once again,
Well,
happy birthday, Ron.
Ron.
Thank you. Thank you.
Seriously. Yeah.
Thank you.
So as we wrap it up, Thursday nights, catch us. Hold on a second. Now the professor gonna come back. I thought he was out of here. Okay, he's back here.
And
All right.
by the way,
Yeah.
Buck, we got to say it like Ron was a happy birthday. Not
Damn
birth.
right.
Happy birthday.
August 30th for me.
All
So,
right.
as a Virgo,
Thank
Virgos
August.
are the best. We'll put up with Leos for the next month or so, but you know.
Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. Pacific time. Hey, you know what that means. You keep that going. Also, find us on YouTube, SNN, Street News Now. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and make sure you share. For our fearless leader, Lee Michaels, for the birthday 65-year-old Dr.Ron Ford, for Mike Love, for Buck Wheezy, for Professor Reggie Miles, I'm Chris Bass. Be peaceful. And, of course, Professor, give us a good, hearty good night.
Good night.